I know you're excited to play, but is your roster a little different now than you thought? Certainly on the goaltending end, you're with a rookie goaltender who's going to be making his AHL debut.
Yeah, I mean that's part and parcel with being a head coach in the American Hockey League during normal times too. Is that your roster situation is most times pretty fluid, and there's some things that have gone down in just terms of roster with the Edmonton Oilers, roster with the taxi squad, and then obviously roster for our training camp down here in Bakersfield. And for me, and you've heard me say this before, Griff, I think it's the job of the coaching staff at the American League level to coach the people that are in front of you and worry about the people that are in front of you. And right now I see 24, 25 individuals that are excited to be here, that are approaching every day with an intense attitude, a learning mindset, and regardless of if they're first-year players or 15-year players. And, it's real refreshing to be around.
Follow up, Mike?
Yeah.
Go ahead. John Singh.
Coach, you look at the roster, a lot of new names on the sheet. What's impressed you the most about some of the new guys who are in Bakersfield this year?
Well, I think our manager, Keith Gretzky, and the management up in Edmonton with Ken Holland and his entire staff, they've given us a lot of tools to work with. And there's a lot of experience up front. Players like Adam Cracknell, Seth Griffith, Alan Quine, who's been recently reassigned to us. Those players are really good additions in terms of experience level, in terms of skill level, and they will help guide some of our younger players up front. So, and those additions go alongside some of the key pieces that we returned from last season as well. Guys like Brad Malone, Cooper Marody, Joseph Gambardella, those types of guys up front, Tyler Benson. And for me, those that experience to come down and help show our younger players the way, I think will serve our team going forward. On the back end, we've returned a couple guys from a few years ago, and Kevin Gravel and Ryan Stanton. I think they'll help some of our younger D-men assimilate into the American Hockey League. And when I look at our roster, I see a lot of opportunity. There's opportunity for players to make their marks, to command ice time, and to really find niches or roles within the team as we move forward here in the month of February.
John?
Also, no fans this year. What are your thoughts on that, playing without any fans for the 2021 season?
Yeah, I mean, for me, one of my favorite parts about being the head coach of the Bakersfield Condors is interacting with our fan base. It's about trying to put a product on the ice that this community is proud of and feels connected to. And so them not being in the building for us is going to feel different. These are the times that we live in, and we're excited that we get to come and compete on a nightly basis. Though our fans won't be in the stands right away anyways, we know a lot of our fan base will tune in online and listen to our great broadcasts and try and feel connected to us in that way. And nothing changes for us in our goal of trying to make this community proud.
Carrie?
Hey, Coach, I'm just going to say I'll volunteer all the games I'm at to make noise for you if you need the extra woos.
I like it. All right. We can use all the noise we can.
I'll get kicked out, I'm sure. But I do want to ask, obviously, you do have some veterans, like you mentioned some of those names, but there was some of the heart that's missing from the team, of course, from the community's mind, and, you know, Josh Curry and Keegan Lowe leaving, and two, some of the netminders that people have gotten used to seeing. So I just want to know for you, just kind of coming into a season like this, where obviously chemistry is always key, but especially where these guys don't have a chance to really get ready before the season starts, what's been the most difficult thing when you lose guys like that are really the heart of the team?
Well, yeah, I mean, the players you mentioned, had big impacts on the city of Bakersfield on and off the ice. I think both are quality individuals that created lifelong friendships here. They gave everything they had to the organization, and both have moved on to strong organizations in the American Hockey League. So we're happy that we've had the chance to work with them, and that they've, they're taking their skills to another organization, and they're going to have a good effect on those teams as well. But for us, our focus is on the people that are in front of us. And as I mentioned earlier, I think Keith Gretzky and our management group worked extremely hard to try and find, number one, great hockey players, number two, good people, number three, individuals that can fit into the team concept that we're trying to implement down here. So as excited as we are for those former players to move on and find their way with new organizations, we're also excited about the new players that are in front of us. And I think we're going to have a strong leadership group this season, headed by guys like Brad Malone that have been here for a while. And, they've done a lot of stuff off the ice to try and bring our group together. And we're just going to try and build on things on a day-by-day basis.
And if I can follow up with another one here. So you were talking about a pep in your step, and I don't know, I haven't been to many of your practices, but it looked like you were skating around pretty quick out there. I could kind of see the excitement. And again, I might be looking too far into it, but I just want to know for you, just to be able to return after a year like this, what's going to be different for you as a coach than any other season after what, everyone's gone through?
Well, I was talking with our staff here the other day. It's 11 months basically since we were last able to do what we love. And so for us to be able to come to the rink and have a purpose of going on the ice, we've had 11 months to prepare for it. So we're really excited to see the execution part of things. And I can say, just for me, when you have something that's taken away from you, you spend a lot of time reflecting on what's important. And when you get the chance to do it again, you make darn well sure that you're going to make good on it. And I can tell you that I have a sincere appreciation for every single day. I consider myself lucky that I get to do a job that I love and be around a group of people in our staff, our coaches, and our players that I really enjoy being around. So have had a really good time so far through training camp.
John?
Coach, do you start the season with a captain, or is that something that kind of comes over time as the seasons go on?
Good question, John. So we spent a lot of time the last little while talking as a group, staff, trying to identify who the natural leaders are, rather than force feeding it upon the team. And so for us, that's something that we'll get to here over the next couple of days, where we'll announce a leadership group. And, that's another thing we talked about, is we don't think you need a letter to lead. I think we can organically grow some leadership in our group. And over the next couple of days, you should pay attention, because I'm sure we'll announce who will wear our captaincy and our A's for assistant captains.
Mike Hart?
Hey, Coach. Just being off the ice, let's talk about that for a second. All the changes within the arena from a full body temperature scanning device when you walk in the back door to not being able or keeping the front office upstairs and the locker room people all separated? What has that been like so far?
Well, I feel like I'm on an episode of Star Trek every time I walk into the building. You get a full body scan, you get your temperature taken, you're filling out apps, you have to take tests. But you know what? These are the times we live in. Our ownership is committed to keeping everybody safe. The building and the city of Bakersfield have done a great job to ensure that this season can take place. And I, for one, am thankful for it.
You know, some of the people, if I could follow up with that, there are people within the community, within the country, they think, they have different levels of concern when it comes to the coronavirus and whatnot. And yet we've already seen one hockey game, at least, that was stopped. I think it was after the first period, and because someone had tested positive. Do you think there's that seriousness, at least within your team, taking every precaution as far as the coronavirus goes, knowing that at some point you could literally be in a locker room at the end of the first period and they say, that's it, the game's called, somebody tested positive?
Yeah, I think we laid it out there right from our opening meeting that safety is our North Star. That's what's going to guide our decision makings and how we travel, how we behave at the rink, how we spend time at a hotel, how we eat our meals. Everything comes down to safety. And I'm just going to put it out there that the gentleman that's our COVID-19 officer is our head athletic therapist, who's just done a heck of a job ensuring that people are educated, number one, and that we have everything we need in terms of safety. His name's Chad Drown. He's done yeoman's like work for us for the last few years as our head athletic therapist, but now we've thrust this responsibility on him. He's just done a great job in making sure to keep everyone safe.
And if I could, one final question. Do you want me to scream, let's make some noise in here, or would that be too weird?
I'd love that, Mike.
All right, you got it.
Any further questions? Mike Griffith?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. One, just in kind of in jest, could you hear Holtby's call during the preseason game down at the bench?
He was a little, he wasn't in his mid-season form, Griff. I think he was more in preseason form. So we'll wait to hear that next week at our home opener.
Certainly, I just want to speak about defensively a little bit. The last few years have been blessed with some obviously talented defensemen who we can now see on television playing up in Edmonton. This year, not quite the case. There's not a lot of high draft choices. How do you work with that? With the I know you've got a couple veterans back there to help, but with the younger kids, how do you work with that raw talent to get them to develop?
Well, I think we just attack it on a day-by-day basis. We're quite proud of the fact that we've graduated four players up the food chain who are on an NHL roster right now on the back end. We spent a lot of time with those young players. And of course, that's Ethan Bear, Caleb Jones, William Lagesson, and now Evan Bouchard got into some action last night as well. So, but our group down here this year, we're excited about. We think we're long. We think we have good defenders. And we brought in some good veterans to complement some of those younger players. So, we just attack it on a daily basis. We stick to our fundamentals, and we're going to help try and grow these young defensemen's games as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any further questions?
I have one quick one. Coach, I know how important it is for you to focus on that development and moving guys up. And also, you want to win and you want to get to postseason play. With all of that kind of being uncertain this season, how does that change the game plan in a sense of those kind of being your key factors in normal seasons, and just right now unsure if guys are going to be able to move up as often or if at all? And then of course, not knowing really with playoffs just yet. Well,
I think we're just worrying about one day at a time right now. And I think, that's the one thing that we're learning about is it's kind of a flexible environment here. So in terms of, there's border restrictions, there's been game cancellations, postponements, all that kind of stuff. we're just putting our focus on our daily basis and trying to win every single day by doing it right. So we're going to focus on the people that are in front of us. We're going to do our best to develop them. We're going to do our best to put into place a game plan that we think will help us win. And we'll let the chips fall where they may. I can tell you that the esprit de corps amongst the Bakersfield Condors is very high right now. We're excited that we get to go ply our trade. And like I said, everybody's pretty singular in their focus in that they're taking care of business on a day-by-day basis.